Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know this is only my second video going up, but it will be a video where you can or probably will get to know me just a little better, so you can know things about my life but not my whole life exactly, because I'm not gonna like throw my whole life on YouTube like at one time, it's all gonna be like at separate points, and it'll be when I have like more confidence with you guys and when I have more of you guys subscribe to my channel. So once again, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment any other video suggestions you want to, I guess, watch. So, oh, and also hit that notification bell so you can be one of the first to know when one of my videos come out. So, my son is still sleeping. That is why I'm going to try and record this video really quickly. I tried recording this video yesterday. I'll put a little clip like now, I guess, so you guys can see what it was trying to record a video with a toddler. And I couldn't. So I'll show you guys. Consequently. Alright. So now that you watched that little clip, you know my life is busy and it's hard to even just record a video. So while he is not in the living room, I like this background so much better. My beautiful curtains and my comfy couch. I don't have to be sitting in a hard chair in the kitchen. So let's get to it, right? Let's get to the video. Today's video, by the title, is going to be my pregnancy at 18 story. So, buckle in, everybody. Get comfy, grab your popcorn, grab your chips, grab any snack, your ice cream, anything, and just relax and watch story time. So, yes, I got pregnant at 18. Yes, it was planned. Yes, he was my boyfriend at that time, but he is my husband now. So I did have a partner, and I still do have a partner. So I was in high school while I was pregnant. So I was pregnant while in high school. I said that wrong. I think I said that wrong. So I was pregnant in high school, and it wasn't easy. It was difficult. It's still difficult just to even remember how it was, just because I had so many people judge me, and I had so many people just stare, and not at my face or not at my clothes, but they would only stare at my stomach. And that's kind of like rude, really, when you're walking by the halls and the only thing you get is stares and straight to your stomach. So I would always walk in the hall, and I have friends who can prove this. Like I was walking in the halls, and I would just like I had one of those like hand side bags for my book bag, and I would like always put it in front of my stomach, or I would always like hold onto a sweater just like this, and the sweater would like cover my stomach because I was embarrassed of just people staring at me like over and over and over again, and they wouldn't like respect my privacy, so I would just have to cover my bump. And yes, it is like, it's silly to even mention now that I actually had to cover my bump in high school because of how immature people were, and they would just stare straight at my stomach. So it's surprising and it's silly now that I think about it, really. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was a senior at that time. Like I said, I was in high school, so I was a senior, and I had found out I was pregnant in like February just because I didn't get my period. My hormones were all over the place. He was my boyfriend at that time, so my boyfriend, he was like, "You're pregnant, you're changing, your hormones are like all over the place." So I was like, all right, we've been trying for like a certain amount of time. I'm not pregnant. I was like, no, there's something wrong with me, or there's something wrong with you just because we've been trying for such a long time and I can't get pregnant. So that was my doubt. I'm not pregnant, you know? And when I had taken 2 tests previously to the positive one. So the 2 tests that I had taken before the positive test were negative, like I just told you guys. So then we finally decided, like, okay, we're just gonna go buy the cheapest pregnancy test that's out there, and we're gonna give it a try. We're gonna see what's going on, if you're pregnant or not, and then we'll go like to a fertility place or something like that if this comes out negative again, because it's obvious you're pregnant. And I'm like, no, I am not pregnant. I'm not pregnant at all. So it was like 4 a.m. that morning, and they always say that the first urines are the perfect ones that you should take when taking a pregnancy test. So it was like 4 a.m. when I woke up. I was like, oh my goodness, this is my first pee, you know? Let me just take the test and let's see what the results are. So, come on guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was 4 a.m. Like, I'm not going to stay awake for a long amount of time. So I'm like, you know, whatever. I'm just gonna leave these tests on the counter. I'm gonna go back to sleep. I have to wake up back again at 6 a.m. because I had to go to school. So I woke up like super early, exactly like at 6. And I never wake up at 6 at that time because I was pregnant. I was in high school. And I was a teenager at that time. As you could say, like, you're a teenager in high school, but I was like an adult. So I was in school at that time and I wasn't gonna wake up. Okay, so I was in school at that time and I had to wake up again around 6 a.m. So when I woke up, I was so nervous because I was like, okay, this test could be it, or it could be like a guide, I guess you could say, to the fertility doctor. So when I go and look at the test, I see 2 little lines and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm not jumping in joy, but I am so excited. I'm so like happy. I'm just like every emotion that has to deal with happy. I was just all of those at that time. I go wake up my husband. He was my boyfriend at the time, but he is my husband now. I go and wake up my husband. I'm like, look, babe, oh my goodness, I am pregnant. We're both pregnant. Because when the girl is pregnant, you could say that you're both pregnant because you are. You know, he's an expecting father, you're an expecting mother, so you're both pregnant. And I had to go to school that day, so I was pretty annoyed, you know, that I had to go to school and that I just couldn't sleep in, or I just couldn't go to like work with him or just hang out with him or anything like that, just because I was excited. My emotions were everywhere, but I didn't want to lose the baby. So I just went to school. Didn't say anything. I did text one of my friends that same morning when I was telling my husband. I'm like, oh my goodness, look, I'm pregnant. And then she's like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy for you. And then she was just waiting for me to get to school because I was pregnant. So those were happy news going to school. But my overall experience, like I said in the beginning, I think I said it in the beginning. So like I said, it wasn't easy. It was difficult. A lot of different people that got pregnant, a lot of different girls that got pregnant in high school some could say that, oh, it's easy, you know, all this, all that. It's not easy. Being pregnant in high school, it's not easy. So I don't recommend you guys getting pregnant in high school. If you want to get pregnant, wait until you're out of high school. Just because it's not easy, it's difficult. Like I was saying, people just stare straight at your stomach. They don't stare at you. They don't want to be friends with you anymore because they're like, okay, why are we going to be friends with the pregnant girl? You know, that's all they say. And that's all the comments I got. That's all the looks I got. And especially coming down to graduation rehearsals, my stomach was already big. I was already 5 months, guys. 5 months pregnant. I'll put up like little clips between here and then just showing you guys how my stomach looked. So, my stomach was already showing. I couldn't hide it anymore because I had no excuse to hold anything, especially at graduation practice. They say you can't hold anything but your phone. Or some of the teachers didn't even allow you guys to hold your phones, but you know, I just had those leggings somehow that had like pockets where I could hide my phone. So, in graduation practice, you're all learning the steps to like walk in the stage and like all that stuff. And when you're going like 2 by 2 with the partner you're gonna be so it's like this, one person, the other person, and you're just walking. So you're 2 by 2, and when you're going like 2 people at a time, you're going by yourselves with that person. Nobody else is coming around except the 2 that are coming in front of you and behind you. So the ones that are already there, like at their seats and all that, nosy people just stare behind. And, you know, you could obviously, the big bump. My stomach was not huge, like huge, or it wasn't that small either. It was at a point where you could say, oh, she's pregnant. So, my stomach was showing. I was a little embarrassed because all I would get was stares. And here at graduation practice, you have to go one by one, especially to like go get your diploma, you could say. And what they're handing out to you is like your tickets and your information of graduation, all that stuff. So as I'm going up, I start getting more nervous because I'm like, okay, so many people are already staring at me. And not just at me, they're staring at my stomach. And I already knew he was a boy at that point. I'll get into like all that kind of details, like being pregnant in high school, like the raw experience, I guess you could say. I'm just giving you guys here like a Cliff Note kind of experience. So it's hard, guys. Being pregnant in high school, it really is. And like I was saying, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend any of you guys girls. It's hard, guys, being pregnant in high school. And at graduation, I got special treatment, but it wasn't that exact special treatment that you would expect. All I would have was like teachers bringing me like bottle of waters because it was hot. We had to stand out there. I think it was like an hour. I had heels, so they had like a chair there so where I could sit and just relax because I was already, now this is graduation. Graduation practice, I was 5 months pregnant. This is graduation, so I was 5.5 months pregnant. I was almost 6 months pregnant, guys. 6 months pregnant. You're huge. Like, you're really showing now. And my stomach, you could see like the tip of my stomach and the gown. I was so happy that I was wearing a gown at graduation because I could hide my stomach from all of those other people that were really rude and really mean and gave those hateful comments to me about being pregnant. So, we're at graduation, we're walking the stage. I'm getting really nervous because I am in heels. I have to walk in those heels across the stage where everybody can see me, and I'm pregnant. It was nerve-wracking. But the people I had next to me were my friends. So I was so happy to be next to friends that didn't criticize you, didn't judge you, But what actually help you, they were like, do you want me to like help you up? Do you want me to, I guess I could talk to the teacher and I could help you walk back to your seat, or it's just stuff like that. But I didn't want that special treatment. So I'm like, no, I can do it by myself, you know. If I've been carrying the bump by myself this long in school and taking everybody's hateful comments and hateful looks and all that stuff, I could take walking across the stage by myself. So I did it. I walked the stage. It was a very happy moment. And I could remember getting off the stage and I'm in heels. So this was like the first time wearing heels in my pregnancy. So it was hard. Like calling me to the side to go and give her a hug. And I went to go do it. As I was giving her a hug, my cap like was falling out. And then the lady, like that, when you're walking down, the lady that's just staring at you and she's like, okay, smile. She's like, hey, smile, like to take the picture. My cap was coming down. So I'm like holding my cap and I'm like taking a picture, holding my cap. And it was just so embarrassing. So those are one of the embarrassing moments in graduation, I could say, and pregnancy. So then school's out, graduation's out, and I'm still pregnant, guys. Whoa. And I'm still pregnant, guys, and it is summer. My son was born late. He wanted to come out around 5.5 months, or like around that graduation kind of time, but my mom had already left. Yes. I was actually 6 months, I think. Between 5 to 6 months pregnant, my son wanted to, I guess you could say, miscarry. And it was the scariest thing ever. Waking up in the middle of the night, or like, I think it was like 3 in the morning, and I would have like these bad contractions. And we're talking like 5-6 months contractions, guys, where it was a possibility I could have miscarried at that point. It was very scary, guys. Like going to the car, waking up, waking your partner up and telling them you're having these extreme sharp pains. And I remember just feeling the pain of throwing up, going to the bathroom, feeling the pain of having to go number 2. But I couldn't. I just couldn't go to the bathroom. I wanted to like just push. I was getting these extreme contractions, but the doctors would call them Braxton Hicks. But me as a mother, I knew I was getting contractions. It was scary. I thought I was going to lose him. I'm crying on the way to the hospital. My husband, we were both praying at that time. We were just trying to be patient and just ask God to really take over my body, take over the baby, and make sure everything is safe, and to not take him away from us, because that was our biggest request, was not to lose our son. It's hard to even talk about, guys, because you're at a point in your life where you don't even know if you're going to lose your son or if you're going to keep going with this pregnancy. So it was scary. It was horrifying. It was like I was living in a nightmare. I felt like I was living in a nightmare, and I didn't know where things could turn. So we're at the hospital, and they're asking me for my name, guys. They're asking me for my birthday, my information, all that stuff. I'm over here, a pregnant woman. I was already like at a point, I was huge already. So I'm like holding my stomach, I'm like leaning in, and they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, I can't breathe. Like, I feel like I can't breathe. My contractions, Braxton Hicks, you could say, were getting sharper and sharper and sharper by the minute. So my husband's over here helping me with my back because my back's hurting. My whole back was hurting literally. And that back pain was like coming around my stomach. So I'm holding my stomach. I'm feeling these sharp pains. I'm having the urge of throwing up, but I couldn't. I was having the urge of going to the bathroom and I couldn't. So I was having all these feelings going on in my body and I wasn't feeling it. I was feeling so uncomfortable. So they bring down a wheelchair, sit me down in the wheelchair, and we're going up to the labor and delivery. And as we're going up to labor and delivery, they're like handing me this trash can because I'm like, I want to throw up. And I'm like trying to throw up in this trash can that they gave me. I couldn't. I'm frustrated at this point because the people that were taking me to labor and delivery were so slow. So I like throw the trash can in the hospital hallway and I'm so frustrated. They're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I need to get there now. Like, I'm in pain, guys. So as we're already up in labor and delivery, they're taking our information, all that stuff. My husband is mostly talking. So I'm like, I need a room. I need a doctor to like look at me now because I have this weird feeling and I don't feel good at all. So they take a look at me and it turns out my son was having an acid reflux and he was just not accepting anything at that point. He was getting really discomfort. So I guess you could say he was beginning to get stressed. And the good thing was they gave me like that medicine thing they give you. A medicine thing they give you when you're in pain. In Spanish, it's called suero. So they were just putting that into my veins, you know. I started feeling like this chill go through my body while they were putting the IV. And I had to stay there. So this was like 4 a.m, I think. And I came back home around 7. And that was the first time I had ever gotten an IV in my hand. So when I went to the hospital, they had put the IV around here. And when my son was born, they had put it around here. So at that point, you know, my hand did hurt, but it didn't hurt that much. And I couldn't like move it. But when my son was born, my hand hurt even more because the IV was like around here, I think. Yeah, it was like around there. I'll put a picture up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I had the IV around here and like every time like I moved my hand, like it hurt. So I couldn't move my hand that much. So I think I'm going to stop the video here because I'm getting too much forward with delivery. And that'll be for a different video, guys. I am so sorry I had to stop the video here, but overall I gave you my overall high school experience of being pregnant and being pregnant at 18, guys. So enjoy, guys, and bye.